Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Your video is about to start on all things Social Security. Just a quick reminder, we are here every day, 9 a.m. with some sort of tip or tidbit for you. And we are here generally on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for live Q&As on everything Social Security. So feel free to pop in a timely fashion, and I will answer your questions there too. Have a great one. Bye-bye. Morning, guys. I thought this was really it reminded me of something really funny that happened in a phone hearing once about a million years ago. And Heather kindly brought up a question that she was concerned about, and I will make sure she gets shared this video. But she just came out of a hearing, and I guess it went okay. But she said during all her, responses to the judge, she forgot to address him as Your Honor, and she was wondering if that was really bad. I don't think that's bad. The judge knows that you're nervous. In fact, some people try to explain to the judge that they're so nervous and, that's probably why they should win their case. And it's like, no, everybody's nervous. I mean, you don't even have to be disabled to be nervous when you're talking to a judge or when you have a case like this, hanging in the wings there, waiting for a result. Everybody's nervous. I mean, when you think about it, if I get pulled over by a police officer, and this hasn't happened in a while, but I guess that's not even a great excuse because you probably did something wrong, like you were speeding or your lights out or something like that. Doesn't have to be death-defying though, but we all get super nervous. And even if an officer were to, um, I don't know, walk into a store, we all kind of have not all of us, I'm sure, some people think it's funny, but I mean, I straighten up a little bit, like, who? And I'm not even doing anything wrong. And if someone came to my house, well, then I would be, unless my family's all home, I'd be very worried. But otherwise, you're like, what do we do? And you get nervous. So it's something about authority, I suppose. But don't be worried. I mean, if you forget to use the official formal, addressing of an ALJ, I don't think it's going to bother him. I think he's going to totally understand. I would also say, here's it, for instance, that I wouldn't do, and I just always have to bring this one up, usually with regard to something else, but depending on how you're speaking to a judge. Now, sometimes some of us will use the word judge. Yes, judge. No, judge. Thank you, judge. And I don't know. That's probably a little less formal. It's still, it's like saying, hello, doctor. I don't know, instead of maybe Dr. Joe. I don't know. But I had one client once who it wasn't so much that she called him judge, probably, but that she said, not for nothing, judge. Not for nothing, judge, but do you know what it's like to be depressed? And it was so bad. I was cringing inside, going, my, first of all, you don't know this judge. Second of all, he was maybe a lady judge, I'm not sure. Been around for quite a few years doing probably 75% of cases have depression, if not more. And most people have had a tad of it or have had it in their family. So it was really incredibly rude. And it's funny because she could have just shown stupidity, but not rudeness if she had said it like, and this is where the Your Honor could come in, like, like if she said it in a different tone, like, Your Honor, I don't know if you've ever had depression but it can be so bad. Like if she had said it in a different way, maybe with the Your Honor throated, but it was so bad. I just remember it had the word judge, not for nothing, judge. So I just thought that was funny. But the funnier example I wanted to tell Heather, and I think I put it in the typed answer, was many years ago. I mean, we still had a landline. Now we had cell phones, but I had a phone hearing because it was far, far away. This is long before COVID. This is like probably 20 years ago. And I had a landline, and when I had a far away hearing, I was doing them long before anybody else was doing them because I'm kind of creative and think out of the box. I'm not giving up my client because he moves unless he wants to ditch me, which would never happen. So I had a case, I think it might have been out in California or something out west, I think. And the judge's name was Stanley something. I don't recall what it was. Very old case. And he had asked me something, and I said, certainly. And here we are on this phone line. And he says to me, did you just call me Stanley? And that was his first name, I guess. And I'm like, no, Your Honor, I would never do that, and I would never do that. I would never, ever disrespect the judge that way and call them by their first name. It was just, and I'm sure he did believe me because I don't know, I'm always respectful, in court and with my judges. But I just remember being like, oh my goodness, can you imagine if someone did do that, or if he didn't believe me, or that I just called a judge on one of my cases by his first name? Why don't I just call him his nickname that his mommy used to call him? I mean, it would be so bad. But not, I'd say most of the time, like probably with Heather's situation, if you forgot to say Your Honor, not a big deal. It's not like you substitute it with like, hey, bozo, And there is the term judge, but I would kind of stick to Your Honor, actually. Or if you don't even say, I don't know what that term is, the way you address him. If it's not even included at all, I don't think that's a problem at all. So I wouldn't worry about it. They know how nervous you are. They're not unsympathetic. It doesn't mean you win disability because of it, of course, but they're human too, and they get it. Okay. All right. I just had to share that because it reminded me of Stanley and my certainly, and the fact that it sounded like Stanley, and I was like, no, Your Honor, I would never do that. Anyway, kind of funny, huh? I was brand spanking new, and I was like, wow, maybe this phone thing isn't gonna work too well. But after that, separately, I worked with my regional OHO, which is Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and anytime I had a case that moved, they allowed me to use their video room to keep the case moving, even though it's over there. These offices, will work together. And I would have my client would be in person with the judge, and I would be on video from Wilkes-Barre. And that's how we rolled. And now, of course, with MS Teams hearings, which I cannot believe how much I love it. It really saves everybody time and headaches and claimants in particular, but me as well. I can do a lot more. I would pretty much lose a whole day between driving there, getting there super early, because that's the nature I have, and waiting for the hearing, doing the hearing, after the hearing, speaking with the client some more, then going home. I would just unwind because hearings I take extraordinarily seriously, and I would pretty much just not do anything for the rest of the day for the most part, like maybe some busy work, but nothing of substance. And part of that was from, sometimes I'd be driving 2 hours each way. Remember once we were going to Connecticut, I don't even recall how far that was. I once drove to Ohio, but I had to stay in a hotel. But I would often drive to Newark, sometimes a different place in Jersey. Wilkes-Barre was my closest, or Allentown, but I hated driving to Allentown, even their satellite OHO office for hearings, because I just hate that Route 33 and blah, blah, blah. So the MS Teams hearings, I think, are really helpful, particularly for claimants. Getting a ride to a hearing is probably not that easy. Spouse has to take off, or a friend, someone's not getting paid, or they're using up a scarce personal day. So anyway, it's all good. But of course, you can still have your in-persons if you insist on it. I probably won't be your lawyer unless you want to pay out the nose for the out-of-pocket expense of getting me physically there to the hearing. Anyway, that's it. But it beats phone. I think it beats phone for the most part. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Thank you for joining and taking a listen to this video. If you have any questions that relate to this or anything else with regard to Social Security, disability, retirement, SSI, etc., please do feel free to post it in the comments below, even if it's not necessarily related to this video. And I will see them. And if it's something I can do a video on, I will be happy to do that. If you are looking for representation in a current battle to prove that you are disabled, whether you have applied yet or not, and ideally, if you have not applied yet, that's when we like to come in and start from the beginning and do our wonders. You can go to joydisability.com, look up to your left, and there's a little link for a free SSD evaluation, and we will take a look at it and let you know one way or the other. If you are looking for a consultation, not representation, or you can't get representation for whatever reason, or it's a non-representational type of issue you need to review, you are more than welcome to order a prepaid consultation. It will be with me personally, and that link is on that same page, joydisability.com, but over on the upper right. Anyway, thanks for staying tuned, and I hope to see you every day, 9 a.m. with our little video shares or live Q&A if you want to join me live on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.